Good morning, everyone. This is our title page. This is our table of contents. And this is our summary. First, let's evaluate whether purchasing the studios was the right choice for Sketchy. By tracking the growth metrics, we found that from 2020 to 2021, revenue, EBITDA, EBIT, and net profit all have a positive growth rate. It could be a good sign that Sketchy increased their profitability after purchasing the studios. But it is not enough to show that purchasing the studio was the right choice. We should analyze the situation more comprehensively and determine whether these improvements are sustainable. Then we come to the margin metrics. The table shows both EBITDA margin and EBIT margin was decreased in 2021, but the net profit margin was increased. It indicates that increase in net profit is caused by the reduction in interest expense. And the reduction in interest expense was benefit from Sketchy's creative financing mechanism. The change is shown in the chart. Using community bonds and donations instead of mortgage and VTB contribute to the increase in net profit. It is a wise method. And this table shows the change in debt ratio and interest coverage after purchasing the studios. We can see that these are reflected in the statement in 2020. A higher debt ratio and a lower interest coverage ratio imply higher financial risks. Fortunately, the situation is improved in 2021. We can see the decrease in debt ratio as well as increase in EBIT interest coverage ratio. It means the financial and organizational effort was effective. The financial risk becomes lower. At the same time, analyzing the operations, we could see the significant increase in ROA and AU. It means the company is better at using its assets to generate profit. And the slide shows the discount cash flow model we built. The free cash flow to firm showed a turn from negative to positive. This is a good sign that the company has significant cash to cover operating expense. When a negative free cash flow to firm may indicate financial distress or unsustainable operations, the positive cash flow indicates the company has a financial resource to meet its interest and principal repayment obligations. Based on this financial analysis, we can conclude that purchasing the studio was a right choice and the effort was justified. Now let my partner do some analysis from other view.
So did the financial mechanisms align with Sketch missions and long-term goals? The answer is yes. First, let's dive into the financing mechanism employed as combined free funding methods to raise 4 million, perfectly aligned with the Sketch mission to secure funds for the acquisitions. The success of the bond campaign, fundraising targets, and timely repayments of VTB also indicates the effectiveness of these methods. Furthermore, these mechanisms also align with Sketch long-term goals, particularly in providing a permanent space for the future younger generations. And the funding arise aims to acquire a permanent space that ensures stability and continuity. Additionally, the introduction of the innovative community impact bonds engage the community, broadening the pool of contributors, attracting initial supporters. The employment of experts enhance program transparency, offer clear benefits to our contributors. Therefore, the financial mechanisms are aligned with both missions and long-term goals. Regarding non-profit organizations, prudent funding methods is highly valued. So we will discuss an alternative approach that can provide even greater prudence, and we will focus on the community impact bond, which offers variables options. To begin with, it's important to consider the potential impacts of changes in interest rate, visas, and monetary policies. Funding rates and interest rates are concerns that we need to be considered. And here is the timeline for the bond purchase dates, maturity dates, and more. This information will help us to make an informed decisions. Next, we should carefully analyze the properties of the bond series available and then make our decisions. In this case, the bond series A, B, D have been shortlisted, while C has been excluded. The reason is that bond series C shares the same interest rate and term as the bond series A. As a result, it will be more advantageous for Sketch to consider the potential interest-free options offered by the bond series A. After the selections of the bond series, we can construct different portfolio based on varying the bonds allocation. The first portfolio constructs 25% bond A, 15% bond B, and 25% bond D. This allocation motivated by two considerations: issuing and no interest long-term bonds post-COVID allows Sketch to take advantage of the favorable interest rate, and stable coupon payment will be the second considerations. However, we should remain conscious about the potential high cost of capitals associated with the portfolio. Moving on to the second portfolio, comprise 40% bond A, 30% bond B, and 30% bond D. This allocation aims to minimize the interest payments and consider the possibility of dynamic refinancings in the future to benefit from the lower interest rate. While this portfolio offers the lowest cost of capital, we must address the concerns of potential default rates as bond A matures after acquiring the studio, which might lead to insufficient funds that we need to concern about. Lastly, the third portfolio is constructed by an equal opportunity of the proportion of 3 different bond series, allowing us to assess the potential level of risk involved. However, it's important to note that this portfolio exhibits the largest change in NPV of the cost of funding before closing the acquisitions. Considering the objective of achieving more prudent allocations of bonds, we recommend Portfolio 1. As a more prudent portfolio, a higher cost of capital will be accepted for lower risk. This portfolio strikes a balance between accepting a higher cost of capital, which is the coupon payments, in exchange for a lower risk. And here's the end of our presentation. Thank you. Oh,
OK，我们